Roadblock bosses. Ever hear of that term? Probably didn't. I made it up. Who am I talking about when I talk about roadblock bosses? You know, we've all had at one point in our career that individual who was your leader, and unfortunately, the minute they spot high levels of talent, they feel that their own security in their position is threatened. So what do? They consciously or unconsciously will place barriers and burdens along the path of their high performers and their high potentials as a means of, in their minds, securing their position. You know, if there is that high level of talent, then they might actually see me for what I am, and I'm going to lose my position as a leader. So instead, I'm going to keep them in a corner and keep them quiet and make sure that I don't throw too many opportunities their ways so that people aren't, catching on that these people really have it. I've heard the adage, A leaders hire A plus people, while B leaders hire C and D caliber folks. Well, 100%. Who are those B leaders? In my opinion, they're roadblock bosses, right? They're those who unfortunately don't understand that your duty, your responsibility as a leader is to empower and coach your team members to not only kind of start to see within themselves the potential and the growth that they can actually achieve, but then provide them the tools, resources, and support they need to be able to fully step into that potential. Your job as a leader is to start with your people. And that, folks, is what I call people-powered leadership. Have you had one of those roadblock bosses? Are you one of those roadblock bosses, whether you realize it or not? Chime in the comments and let me know whether you've had a roadblock boss. Do you currently have one? Have you had one in the past? And what did you do about it to help others start to normalize and talk about this phenomenon of people who, unfortunately, there seems to be roadblock bosses in almost every organization. So let's get that term out there so people can start to identify with it and start to really see it for what it is. So we see less and less of these roadblock bosses and more of our people-powered leaders.